Okay, so you got that slot car track all planned. You got a pretty good idea what you want to do. Now it's time to put it on the table. Let me show you what I did. Everybody, it's Mark. Welcome back to Slot Journal. Uh, if you recall last time, kind of went over some of the basics on track planning, how we got started with that. Today, I'm just going to give you a brief view of my own table. That's kind of where we start, because sooner or later, get that track. If you're down on the floor, you're going to want to get it up off the floor and get it onto a table. So I'm just trying to show you what I did. I'm not going to go into advanced construction or carpentry techniques because there's 100 other YouTube channels that'll teach you how to do that. You don't need me to teach you that. But again, I'll just show you what I did, give you a quick overview, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So I won't bore you with all the details of a home improvement video, but I built this table to support the track much different than I did the last time around. Last track was just cobbled together with a bunch of like tables and little odds and end furniture pieces I had and just laid a track on top of. This you'll see I built for storage, basically out of 2x4s. These openings here, will have double doors on each side and something in the middle here. I left this a little more open in the middle because I want to have access to those corners. The tops are basically just hollow core doors that I purchased. They make a nice substantial top for these things. And then I just built up the track on top here, as you can see, and I've been laying out the various elevation changes in the track underneath the grandstands. Everything, all that will go in the back so it doesn't block the view anywhere. And then you'll see this is the part of the track that goes up to the kind of like a hill climb section. It's not real high. It's probably about maybe 14 inches above the base level of the track, 12 to 14 inches. And that comes down this series of curves, which are a little bit challenging, but not too bad. But you can see here, and then I'll show you some footage of me running, just testing the cars to make sure it has good flow. Of course, now once you got the track on the table, you want to do a little bit of road testing to make sure everything works the way you want. Ensure that you have the nice flow that you're looking for. This particular track, it's very similar to a track I had before, so I kind of knew distance-wise how this was going to work and how it was going to feel. I just wanted to make sure that the curves had a good flow to them. I used more R3 and R4 turns in this one. The older track had more R1s and R2s. So again, I just wanted to make sure everything felt right before I got it set in stone. So what I did is I grabbed the old Scalextric Jaguar I had and just popped it on the track. I also used a few other cars, but that's the one you're seeing here. Just again, make sure that I felt good going further with this. Again, this track, each side is about 10 feet long. Across the back, it's about 11. Total track length, it's almost exactly 50 foot. It's just a hair over. And both lings are an equal length because we do have the one crossover. And so here's an overhead view of the track. This was done in an old layout program called Tracker 2000. You can see on the right-hand side, the part of the track that goes up into what I call like the old medieval city, goes back around and then goes off down the long straightaway in the back where the pits, grandstands are located. Again, those things are all back up against the wall so they don't obstruct the view. And then over on the left-hand side, there's a wide turn, goes up into what I call the Alpine section. There's some curves there. And then back down again to the lower section of the track in front where the control is located. See a little water feature there. I may have also over on the upper right, you can see since this is partially a road course, there will be about 3 areas where the road will actually, looks like it departs from the track. There's one there. I'm probably going to have a 2 in the city section as well, just to give you the idea that this actually is a public road for much of the year, and that's how it flows. So again, this is a overhead view of the track. A couple of shots here, get the overall view of the track. Standing in the back, you can see the 3 different legs of the track on each side and against the back wall. And then also you can see these are the door frames for the doors that are going to fill these spaces. I'm going to put some central panels in there, which might be decorative panels. I'm thinking about maybe even putting some racing poster scenes in there. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So that's a brief overview of what we did on that table. As construction on the track continues, I'll show you some more details there. There's some interesting things I did there. Because of the levels, it allows me to do some wiring inside the track above the doors, so I don't have to like crawl under that table. I got a lot of stuff stored under there, and I don't want to have to haul it all out every time I want to make an addition to lighting or anything like that. So I've got some other plans there, but as I get those doors completed, installed, inside, and everything else done, I'll take you another look at there and show you some more stuff. So in previous episodes, I've always showed you some of the cars I have purchased, and over the interim, during my little hiatus, I continued to buy cars, as you might expect. While I like a lot of the new cars, I love a lot of new cars, whether it's NSR, Thunder Slots, Scale Autos, in particular, the new fast cars, I do enjoy them. But what I also like to do is spend time looking for things that are a little bit out of the ordinary, some new old stock cars that I think are interesting. I'll show you an example of a couple things I got. One is this is a Ford GT. That's a Ninco, brand new car. I think I got this on eBay. It's an angle winder, but it's a very, very sharp car. I really like this livery. I hadn't seen this on any of the others. And this is the Ford GT that they raced, what was it, in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, before the GTE came out. And another example is this fly slot I picked up. This is the Porsche CK5, which is kind of came after the 963, 956s, Le Mans racers. This was a prototype. This particular one I really like, this black martini livery. And again, it's pretty much standard fly fare. Setup and everything, so it's not going to be the fastest racer, but again, something a little bit out of the ordinary, and this is the kind of thing I like to keep my eye on. Hey, if you like this video and you want some more content, be sure to check out our other videos on YouTube. You can also visit us online at slot.journal.com, on Facebook at slot.journal, and also on Instagram at slotjournal. Happy to see you visit. Okay, and like I've done before, I like to talk a little bit about some of the things I've seen and heard on the internet. Maybe it's Facebook or in some of the YouTube channels we've seen. Obviously, this week we've been inundated with all the new cars, the new catalogs from manufacturers. A lot of us already seen Scalextric, Carrera, all the other manufacturers, and there's some nice cars there. Definitely ones I'll be interested in a few. Again, because I primarily collect endurance racers. I mean, there's some limitations there. There's not a lot of cars coming out as far as new molds, which is what really interests me. When the hypercars come out later this year, those are something I'll be definitely interested in. I have a couple pre-orders on those. I'm not one to buy, a bunch of liveries of the same car. I'm just not. If I get a particular model of car, I might get two or maybe three that I really like. Maybe I'll get the same car but from different manufacturers, which is kind of interesting, or variations on a theme of a different car, maybe slight things that are different. That's the kind of thing I look for. But as far as what I'm seeing so far this year, yeah, there's a few things. That new Ferrari from Carrera, especially that Ravel Carrera one, I really like. Definitely probably pick that up. And there's some other ones as well. But we'll see. We'll see what comes up later in the year and what's available. But overall, that's okay for me because I don't have unlimited money to spend. I feel like I'm kind of caught up in a lot of the things I want to buy. So, you know, that's good. So if I buy, fewer cars for the rest of the year, that's not so bad. And speaking of things, on YouTube and on the internet, uh, I would encourage you at some point to visit the Worldwide Slot Car Chat. Greg Gobb, who's done a lot for the hobby and continues to do so, has set this up, and they're almost 200 episodes, I think, pretty close. I've been visiting that every Wednesday. For the last couple years, not every week, obviously, but when I can make it. But it's a really interesting format. Basically, it's a Zoom call. And every week they get anywhere from, maybe 16 to 24 different people come online. Everybody's in the chat. You can be on camera if you want. You don't have to be. But what I like about that, it's a very, very democratic presentation where everybody gets a say, everybody gets an opportunity to talk and be heard. Um, Usually the format goes off where there's a little bit of show and tell. Guys will come on and maybe show some of their new acquisitions or new project they're working on. Sometimes it's followed up with a club corner where, if they've gone to a club or they have a club or they've had a racing event at their home, they, show some pictures and results of some of their experiences, maybe, what worked for them in the race, what didn't. And then sometimes there's just other open topics, we can talk about. And, it's a really, really interesting thing. I almost call it like Slot Car University because if you start at episode 1 and watch them all, you'll learn a lot about slot cars. A lot of the guys on there are very experienced, guys have been doing it since they were kids. A lot of the guys, like Dennis Sampson, is an example. Some of these guys have forgotten more than I'll ever know about slot cars. But that said, everybody's welcome, even beginners. If you come on for the first time, they'll encourage you to share a little bit about your slot car story. How you got involved, and it's always fun. And again, everybody gets an opportunity to talk and share, and it's a very democratic setup, and I think that's why I like it. Because everybody can be on screen, not just one person, and everybody else is just a peanut gallery. I just like it, and you can learn a lot, and I would encourage you to join that. Usually it's every Wednesday, like Eastern time in the United States. It's either 2 p.m. and it alternates. It might be 7 p.m. the following week, and they do that because we get people from Australia. There are people from the UK and other places, and it just makes it easier for them to join in, and they do. We get a pretty nice crowd there. So again, with all that experience, you don't need to feel intimidated because again, it's a very welcoming atmosphere, and they encourage people to ask questions, and it's a lot of fun. And I would encourage you to check it out. Greg usually posts that on Facebook. You'll find posts there. He posted on in news on the Home Racing World forum and basically all the popular forums. So it's not easy. It's not hard to hook up. You just need to get the Zoom on your computer, and you can even use a phone if you want. So again, I would encourage you to check that out. It's a lot of fun, and it's something that definitely can teach you a lot. Okay, before I go, just wanted to mention I also got this beautiful baby from LEB. I came home the other night, and this was on the front porch waiting for me. And that Iron Dames Ferrari is a real sweet one, and I really like that. So that's all for this week. This week, or until the next video. I think next time we're going to show a little bit about borders, how I created some borders from scratch because I didn't have enough of the original art and borders to make it around the track. So we had to come up with another idea. So we'll tell you about that next time. Until then, keep a firm hold on the trigger and have fun, you slotsters.